intensity elevated with each passing game, and the fans here at St. Louis hoping this will not be the final home game of their baseball season. A beautiful night for baseball, the touch of fall in the air, and we are set. This National League Championship Series coverage on TBS, presented by the new Capital One Cash Card. It is Game 5 of a best-of-7 series. The Milwaukee Brewers, the St. Louis Cardinals, in a series that is all tied at 2 games apiece. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from St. Louis alongside John Smoltz and Ron Darling. I'm Brian Anderson. This season marching its way toward the World Series. These two teams played it evenly in the regular season, and now 2-2 as we head to Game 5. And Ron, let's start with Milwaukee. Maybe the biggest win in franchise history for them last night. They evened the series at 2 games apiece. This is a ball club right now that is lined up with their 3 best pitchers. They need 2 wins, and now they have home field advantage again.
Well, you know, Randy Wolf was fantastic last night, but it was really the offense from unexpected and expected hitters in the Milwaukee Brewer lineup. They've gotten some great work from Jerry Hairston, who has now 6 hits in this series, scoring fielder. And then Betancourt, a guy who struggled all season long. He has 7 hits and even drove in a run with this great slide by Junior. And when you go on, Mark Kotsay in his second start got the runner over for Ryan Braun, who knocked him in. So it seems like the Brewers have wrestled some of that momentum back from the Cardinals.
Fundamental baseball, and Milwaukee will send their prize off-season acquisition to the mound in Zach Greinke. Now, John, it's going to be Jaime Garcia for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have relied on their starting pitching. They've relied more on their bullpen, however, in this particular series. They've used their bullpen a lot. Moving forward, no starters gone past 5 innings. What kind of effect will that have on them?
Well, you got to feel they're pretty fortunate to be 2 games to 2 with the starters only going 5 innings. No one's gone more than 5 innings. That's going to have to change if they move forward. You look at the numbers. These are numbers you don't typically see in the postseason, where it be an even split. So for Jaime Garcia, he just needs to be average. He just got to stay away from the big inning and then give his team about 6 innings and then turn it to the bullpen. And I think the top of the order's got to be able to be a little bit better. 1 for 14 for Call in his last couple games.
All right, well, this is a huge swing game. You don't need to hear that. Game 5, this best-of-7 now, a best-of-3 with a World Series on the line. All lit up tonight for Game 5, and another great night for baseball here. Clear skies up above, 63 degrees. That temperature will be dropping, and we have some wind here tonight. It was a factor in last night's game, might be a factor once again in game number 5. The fourth member of our team is Craig Sager, and he's hanging out in the bleachers right where he belongs. How you doing tonight, Craig?
Good, Brian. Milwaukee's Prince Fielder and Ricky Weeks have been teammates since they were in grade school in Orlando. When Prince was 13, they won a national AAU tournament, well, against 16-year-olds. Prince Fielder hitting a home run 450 feet that went out of the ballpark at the Tiger Spring Training Facility in Lakeland. Now, both were drafted by Milwaukee, as was another teammate from the Florida Hawks, Ralph Santana. Santana surprised them today with a visit. He could have sat behind home plate, but instead he's sitting out here in 501 in an area near what's known as Fielder's Triangle, from the mammoth home runs that Prince Fielder hit in 2009 to win the Home Run Derby. Now, you could have sat behind home plate. Prince says you are his target. Is he going to hit you a home run tonight?
No, he's going to hit me one. I'll catch it. I'll be here waiting on him.
All right, we'll be watching. Back to you, Brian.
All right, Craig, bring it up. Out of Prince Fielder and Ricky Weeks passed, and another guy who played against Fielder and Weeks in that AAU circuit in Orlando is tonight's starting pitcher for Milwaukee, Zach Greinke, bringing it full circle from Orlando to St. Louis in Game 5. This National League Championship Series coverage on TBS, brought to you by Capital One and our Capital One starting lineups for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ron Renicky has Corey Hart back in there leading off in right field. Jerry Hairston at third base batting second. Batting third, it's Ryan Braun in left field, an MVP candidate during the regular season. Middle of the order for Renicky is Prince Fielder, Ricky Weeks, and Yuniesky Betancourt. Ron talked about Betancourt and the kind of series he has had. He's had a big one. Bottom three, Carlos Gomez in center field, Jonathan Lucroy catching, and Zach Greinke is on the mound, and he will bat ninth. And that batting order will face Jaime Garcia, the left-handed starting pitcher. It'll be his second start, John.
Well, for Jaime Garcia, it's real simple. Get a better delivery, follow through, stay on the ball, keep it down in the zone. But more importantly, this time of year has a tendency to make the game go faster. He's going to have to slow it down, avoid the big inning, avoid the 4-pitch, 3-hit type situations. And that's, as a young player, very difficult to do. See if he can make up for what really was a fast-paced Milwaukee start in Milwaukee.
Defensively behind Garcia, you have John Jay flanked by the veterans Matt Holliday and Lance Berkman. In right field, he's back in the lineup. Freeze for Carl Punto, a fine defensive second baseman, gets the start, and Pujols and Yadier Molina. You see Yadier, a fixture behind the plate, of course, for the Cardinals in the postseason.
Back at Busch Stadium for Game 5, the third consecutive game here at Busch Stadium. Interesting about Jaime Garcia, he is a guy like Zach Greinke, pitches very well in his home ballpark this year, and Jaime Garcia is in his comfortable surroundings tonight at home in the home whites, and the Cardinals needing a big start from him. Bill Miller will call the balls and strikes tonight. Mike Winters, Gary Darling, Tim Timmons on the bases. The two outfield umpires, Mike Everett and Sam Holbrook. And we are ready for the first pitch. Garcia deals to Corey Hart. It's a strike, and away we go. Jaime Garcia, just 25 years of age. Tony La Russa was quick to point out that he is a young pitcher still learning how to pitch at the big league level. He has had a lot of success in his first couple of seasons. He was rolling right along in Game 1 before things unraveled on him in the 5th inning in Milwaukee in Game 1, which was a Brewer win, a 9-6 victory. I think Tony La Russa very comfortable with Jaime Garcia in his home ballpark.
Yeah, Cardinals fans take note. 4 starts versus Milwaukee in his young career here at Busch Stadium. 2-1 with an 0.64 ERA.
Well, the momentum swing of this best-of-7 series, it has gone back and forth. A big win for Milwaukee last night puts the pressure on the Cardinals as Garcia strikes out Corey Hart, and that's how his night begins.
each club has made the adjustments, as this adjustment right here down in the zone is going to be the key for Jaime Garcia. But each club, when they had to do something different to turn the series, they have, whether it's the top of the order, whether it's a pitched game like Wolf yesterday, and St. Louis's turn. They're going to have to get deep in the game with their starter, give themselves a chance so that they don't feel like they have to outscore and outmaneuver everybody with a bunch of pitching changes.
The longest start by a Cardinal starter in this series. Chris Carpenter went 5 innings as Jerry Hairston Jr. takes a strike.
And knowing that they have to go back to Milwaukee, this game is more important, or the most important, for the Cardinals.
Well, Jerry Hairston now 6 hits in this LCS. 3 of those 6 hits are doubles. That's 15 career postseason games, and now a .350 career hitter in the postseason. That includes his time with the Yankees in '09 on that World Series championship team. There's that ring proudly from the 2009 Yankees, and making a major impact on the Milwaukee Brewers of 2011. To center field, John Jay almost in his tracks. 2 up and 2 down for Jaime Garcia.
You know, from start to start in a postseason, if you're fortunate enough to get more than one start, if you let your failures, they can become your greatest assets. You can learn from an emotional inning, like how in the world did that happen? How fast could that possibly happen? And then make the changes you need to make, and the mindset. It's patience. Patience, but also the urgency of each inning being a really important inning that you hand the baton off to your next guy with a little bit easier of a task.
Here is Ryan Braun with 2 away. Braun has had a big postseason, and in this LCS has 7 hits. He's 7 for 16, a couple of doubles for Braun. He homered against Jaime Garcia in game 1. That was a first inning home run for Ryan Braun, giving the Brewers the early lead. It put him ahead of the first. And he rips that one down the line. That's a fair ball, and that is going to get tucked into the corner. Braun very fast around second base, and he'll stop there. He'll settle for a double. So Braun again with a first inning hit. And a single yesterday in the first inning. Now a double here in the first with 2 away.
Now 9 straight games reaching base in the first at bat. Good job of getting out of the way there by the ball person. And by the time the left fielder, Matt Holliday, gets to it, you could see Braun. He was turning on, thinking about third base, but intelligently going back to second with fielder up. Never want to make that third out of third.
Ryan Braun has hit in 9 of 10 postseason games, and 9 straight games reaching base in the first inning, as Ron mentioned. He keeps his first inning success going as Prince Fielder will bat. That's a strike in there. This will be the key matchup for St. Louis tonight. It always is with Fielder, but especially when you have a left-handed pitcher on the mound. The Brewers have just one left-handed hitter in their starting lineup, and it is Prince Fielder. Part of the Prince Fielder story in this postseason and in this LCS has been his defense. He delivered a knockout punch on Jaime Garcia in game 1 with a 2-run home run in the 5th inning.
That was the last batter Garcia would face in that inning. 25 pitches, 6 runs later.
And we take you back to game 1 at Miller Park. Garcia had a 5-2 lead when the 5th inning began. That home run by Fielder made it 6-5 Milwaukee. And they would not look back. It was a 9-6 victory. Cardinals won games 2 and 3 before Milwaukee picked up the victory last night.
It's a catch-22 of facing Fielder, isn't it? That the slider is the pitch that he's most vulnerable to off a left-hander, but if you hang it, it's the pitch that he can hit 500 feet.
Well, the debate rages on with first base open with Fielder and Pujols as the Cardinals go after Prince Fielder with first base open.
It's always interesting when you're facing a tough hitter and you get to 0-2 real quick. Sometimes you go, now what? when it should be the luxury of what you're supposed to do. But he just threw 2 great pitches to get him 0-2, and now finishing off sometimes is difficult.
And a swing and a miss. And Garcia starts it with an exclamation point. He strikes out the big slugger. Cardinals coming to bat. Around a 2-out double by Ryan Braun. He strikes out fielder, and now the Cardinals are coming up. Starting lineups brought to you by the new Capital One Cash Card. Rafael Furcal, the switch hitter, shortstop, leads off. Then John Jay back in the 2-hole tonight with Albert Pujols batting third. In the middle, it's Lance Berkman, Matt Holliday in left field, David Freese over at third base, and the bottom 3 for Tony La Russa, Yadier Molina, Nick Punto at second base, and Jaime Garcia on the mound. And that will be the lineup to face Zach Greinke. Greinke in his second start. And Furcal takes a strike. See the numbers on Zach Greinke this postseason, making his 3rd postseason start of his career.
Well, for Greinke, a lot of pitchers may not have splits that differentiate as much as Greinke. 11-0 at home, 5-6 on the road. Much higher ERA. I'd say that's a significant stat when you think about a guy who loves pitching at home.
Greinke in his 8th year, he was the big pickup this offseason, traded from the Royals to the Brewers, bolstering the starting pitching rotation that really was the hallmark of this Milwaukee team. Known as an offensive club that could bang with the best of them, but it's been their pitching. And we saw it last night with Randy Wolf that has carried Milwaukee this far in the postseason.
I'm going to be interested to see when Zach Greinke uses his curveball. I thought last game he's got a good curveball, but some questions on when he used it. He sees the films, as do we.
Fly ball right to Corey Hart for out number 1. Ron, how about the Brewers defensively tonight?
We start out in the outfield. Hart's going to be back in that lineup in right field. Carlos Gomez can go get him in center. Braun, of course, with a lot of speed left. They're infield. Hairston, Betancourt, Weeks, and fielder. That has been every game. And Lucroy is back behind the plate.
25-year-old catcher Jonathan Lucroy working with Zach Greinke. Greinke was praising Lucroy after his last start. His ability to block pitches. Greinke spends a lot of time in the dirt with those breaking balls. Here's John Jay back in the 2-hole tonight with the left-handed starter on the mound last night. Jay hit 8th. He has flourished batting second in front of Albert Pujols in this series.
When you watch John Jay hit, you don't get a batting stance and effort like you get from him from most players these days. They all have probably pretty rote kind of mechanics, a lot of movement with his hands. Most players today offensively want to try to eliminate any kind of moving parts when the ball is coming. He's just the opposite. Dips with his hands, elbows moving, and that big strong swing.
Jay hit .297 during the regular season. And it was his play in the outfield and his success at the plate that offered the Cardinals an opportunity to make an impact trade. Homie Rasmus was their everyday center fielder and the center fielder of the future here in St. Louis. But Jay played so well they were able to trade Rasmus to Toronto, rebuilding their bullpen. Picked up a starting pitcher and 2 relievers in that deal. Bouncing ball to Ricky Weeks. And out number 2 for Zach Greinke.
That's the pitch right there, I think, is a real weapon for Greinke. Hard slider, looks like the fastball, down in the zone. You get a lot of results like that. Every once in a while, I think you can throw in that curveball, but this is the hard slider that looks like it's real hittable and then goes down away from the barrel. He could get a lot of strikeouts with that pitch. His curveball is more to change speeds and get him off the fastball.
Here is Albert Pujols against Zach Greinke. A former MVP against a former Cy Young Award winner, and on the first pitch, right into the shift. And Zach Greinke has a quiet 1-2-3 first. Off and running in St. Louis. Game 5 of this LCS. Brewers coming up. We head to the second inning, and this National League Championship Series coverage on TBS brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Just a beautiful night for baseball here. We had a little bit of rain for the first night in St. Louis, which was Game 3, but the last 2, picture perfect. feels like fall as we move toward the Fall Classic. Now these teams just 2 wins away from a trip to the World Series. Ricky Weeks leads all for Milwaukee. Jaime Garcia striking out a pair in the first inning, working around a 2-out double by Ryan Braun. Bouncing ball 2 for call. Now these two teams playing so evenly throughout the year. They were 9-9 in the regular season, now 2-2 in the postseason. Interesting that Milwaukee won 8 of the first 11 games, while the Cardinals have won 8 of the last 11 games. But they sit here today with 11 wins apiece, and whoever wins 2 of the next 3 is going to be moving on. Betancourt takes a strike, showed bunt. Yuni Betancourt out of Cuba in his first postseason, and he is making his mark. 7 hits and 16 at bats in this LCS as he takes strike 2. Jaime Garcia, raised in Texas, born in Mexico. And an international flair in this series. South of the border and from north of the border as well. A couple of Canadians on the Brewers roster. Their closer John Axford.
Well, when you look at Jaime Garcia, and I say today he's got good balance, a little quick step with his feet, and then he just pauses, just a little pause, and then the ball comes out. And when he's on, he's delivering the ball down, good follow through, not pulling off of it. Good timing so far to start this game.
A swing and a miss. He puts one right by Betancourt. 3rd strikeout for Jaime Garcia. 2 quick outs here in the second.
What could happen to a pitcher, especially when you start giving up some hits, those feet get quicker, everything else gets quicker, and this pause is not as apparent, and he starts racing to home plate. Now, it may not be as much physically racing, your mind's racing, and that tension gets you off of the area you want to throw the baseball to. The guy that gets the most successful at this time of the year is the one that can slow the game down, and everything doesn't happen fast, because this game can be fast-paced.
Facing Carlos Gomez with 2 away. Jaime Garcia was a 13-game winner this year. That matched his total from last year, which was his rookie season. Gomez off the end of the bat. Long run for Matt Holliday, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Carlos Gomez with a 2-out hit. 2nd consecutive inning the Brewers have a man on with 2 away.
And I want to finish that thought so that people at home understand. I don't talk about slow your mechanics down, slow your brain and your thinking down, so that you're not racing in the what if scenarios and what if I do this and what if the next guy gets a hit. It's going back to the closest resemblance of a everyday start, and it's so different because you know you're not going to last as long. It's a shorter leash,
but it's hard to get your brain not to think about, boy, if I could go 7 innings and only give up 1 run. Forget about 7 innings. 1 pitch.
Jonathan Lucroy takes a ball. Any tricks, John, you can offer?
Yeah, I know the biggest thing for me personally is, and I know I got asked this all the time, I could not pitch 35 regular season games like I pitched a postseason game. For every inning he pitched in the postseason was like 2.5 for me, because you put that much effort in. He doesn't know if he's going to pitch again. So pitch it like it's your last game you'll ever pitch, and then if your team responds and you respond, you'll get a chance to pitch in the World Series. But it's really that much more mentally challenging because of the atmosphere you're dealing with. You don't get post and pregame conferences when you're in a regular season. You have to talk about it, think about it, so might as well treat it like the last game you're going to pitch.
Now Garcia even in the count, a ball and a strike on Lucroy. One thing we have seen in this series, the Cardinals have been able to shut down the Brewers running game. Not just with their terrific catcher, Yadier Molina, who's one of the best throwing catchers in the league, but their pitchers have done a nice job getting the ball to the plate quickly. Very few stolen base opportunities for Milwaukee so far. The Brewers have one of their best base stealers on now in Gomez. You can almost sense a little frustration in Ron Renicky today, the Brewers manager, talking about the running game. He's an aggressive manager. He wants to put players in motion. Gomez caught just twice this year. He stole 16 bases and missed a couple of months with a broken collarbone this season.
That's an interesting shot right there. You saw Renicky peering into the dugout of the Cardinals. What you're trying to do as a manager, you're trying to pick up La Russa, what kind of signs he might be giving to his catcher Molina, to see if he's tipping his hand on when he wants the pitcher Garcia to throw to first or to come home.
He takes off. Pujols cuts it off. Throw to second, and Gomez is out. That will officially go as a caught stealing as Garcia gets Gomez on the run. And the running game continues to be a non-factor for the Brewers. John controlling the running game more than just the responsibility of the catcher.
Oh, this is great. Watch how far he comes out to get it. He's not going to throw him out at second if he doesn't come this far, cut off the angle, because you know Gomez is trying to get in the way of Furcal. And I think what he's going on first movement, and you see Albert does it as good as anybody, really aggressively going out there to get the ball so they can cut him down at second.
16 steals for Gomez this season, only 2 against left-handers. He still hasn't learned the art of stealing against lefties. Really only goes on first movement.
That was the Brewers' first stolen base attempt of this LCS, and it ends up as the final out of the inning. Lance Berkman leads off for St. Louis, named yesterday as the comeback player of the year in the National League. And Jacoby Ellsbury winning the comeback players of the year. And this is the matchup I think everybody's anxious to see. We were talking about it on the On Deck show prior to the game, but the Greinke-Berkman matchup Berkman, a fastball hitter. Lifetime against Greinke, Lance Berkman is 5 for 12 against him. And he rips one to center field. That's a base hit. Gomez cuts it off. And there's your answer in the first round between these two.
Well, there's two areas that Berkman can handle off Greinke. That fastball is up and away. He's great at getting on top of that fastball and hitting line drives, but he also has a real strength down and in with that slider if he gets it from Greinke. So both ways that are strengths for Greinke, also strengths for Berkman.
First hit for the Cardinals. And now Matt Holliday. Cal Ripken was talking about the matchup between Berkman and Greinke and also Matt Holliday. But Berkman specifically sitting on the fastball. He can hit anybody's fastball. And, he sits on that Greinke fastball that is not as it was in '09 when he won the Cy Young Award. That was the 96, 97 mile an hour fastball. He's comfortably around 93. That one's hit pretty well to right. But Hardy is there playing deep. And there is the first out of the second inning. Looks like Holliday started to get some of his power back. We saw it last night, and he drives that one to right field despite the out.
I will say, though, watching that ball off the bat of Holliday, a little different wind patterns than we had last night. Ball carrying much more to right field last night.
Much windier night tonight, but a different kind of breeze blowing here at Busch Stadium. Holliday took advantage of that jet stream to right last night with a home run. His first of the postseason. And David Freese. Speaking of guys who can handle the fastball, David Freese is handling everything right now in this postseason.
I like the way Zach Greinke has come out and established his fastball slider. No curveballs yet. The Cardinals got a ton of hits, it seemed like, on curveballs and did some damage with it. I'm not saying he's not going to throw his curveball, but he's establishing his fastball early on in this game.
And Freese is hit by a pitch. Greinke drills him. And the Cardinals have 2 on.
Right here, he's not wanting to do this, and he showed some displeasure. You want to make him aware of the fastball inside. You need that pitch to be effective. You didn't want it to be a hit by pitch and get him on first.
I always feel that good pitchers, when they hit a batter, when they're trying to come in for a strike, it's because they're not committed 100% to throwing that ball in for a strike.
Now 2 on with 1 away. Yadier Molina, the Cardinal catcher, at the plate. St. Louis has not had a hit with a runner in scoring position in 2 games. They're 0 for their last 15. Got to go back to game 3 to find their last hit with a runner in scoring position.
Couple schools of thought. When you're trying to pitch in, you can pitch in early for effect. It opens up away late. Cardinal rule usually is never get beat in late in the game. Your stuff's not as good, your location's not as good. Take advantage of it early when you have everything going and set up that effectiveness.
Slow breaking ball for Zach Greinke in there for a strike. The Brewers are set up to turn 2 here. Molina trying to give the Cardinals the early lead. And he hits one hard right field, way back. Hardy is back, reaches up, and it is off the wall. Berkman on his way to the plate. He'll score. Molina with an RBI double. Narrowly missed a home run. And it's 1-0 Cardinals.
Well, we saw Hart go back on a ball earlier in this series, the first game of this series. This one he goes back on, trying to time his leap, gave a great effort to almost come up with this baseball, just eludes his glove. and bounces off that fence in right field. Just missed it.
And a great job by Gomez in his hustle, because this would have scored 2 runs for sure if he didn't come over and get the ball that bounced off the fence. Great job not just watching the play and going where you needed to be, keeping it to just 1 run.
Here's Nick Punto who takes a strike. The runners had to hold ground just in case Hart caught that baseball. Gomez flying across the outfield to pick up the ball off the wall. 1 run is in for St. Louis. The infield is in for Milwaukee. Zach Greinke is in the windup here. As Punto will take strike 2. Got a call on a high fastball.
Punto quickly down 0-2, but he has been outstanding. Runners on third. Here, second and third, but third and less than 2 outs. 8 out of 10. He's gotten them in.
Oh, we've seen this a few times. As we look at this replay again, and I want you to focus on Gomez when you see him come into your picture. This is a great effort, and the ball bounds away, but Gomez is right there quickly on it, making the cutoff so that he could hold the runner from first scoring. One of the things here with the infield in, the pitcher is out of the windup. He feels most comfortable in the windup with his rhythm. That's his best chance for making pitches. But it also gives the runner at third the best chance to get a bigger jump if they are going on contact. And more than likely they will be going on contact because the pitcher's on deck.
Well, we got the Cardinals in the 8th spot of their batting order with Punto. Runners driven in from third base, less than 2 outs. The Cardinals 2 for 8 so far in this series. The Brewers have had a lot of success in spots like this. As Lucroy blocks and keeps Freese at third base. That's what Zach Greinke was referencing after his last start. He was praising his catcher and talking about how many runs he has saved for him already in this postseason. And the confidence to be able to throw a pitch in the dirt. And you have a catcher who will get down and block it.
Well, he only throws this ball 55 feet. Great job by Lucroy to get almost just his arm over there to take it off his arm to keep it in front.
Seen Punto swing through a high fastball before. It's typically not what you want to try to do because you can get a fly ball a little bit easier, but with Zach's fastball here, maybe he can beat him upstairs on a 2-2 count after a couple pitches have been down.
Punto and a caught by Hairston. A stretched out play by Jerry Hairston. Well, Punto hit that right on the nose. Hairston lays out. And the second out of the inning.
Well positioned in, and Hairston's already made some great defensive plays in this series so far. Positioned perfectly with the dive and comes up with a great play for Greinke and the Brewers.
I thought for a moment you saw the ball, the snow cone effect, and Punto's reaction at the plate. It looked like that ball popped out for a moment, but Hairston able to secure it for the out. And now a way out of this inning for Zach Greinke as Jaime Garcia goes right between the legs of Hairston. 1 run is in, and the throw to the plate, another run scores. Molina ran into Jerry Hairston. He was going to score anyway. Between the legs of Hairston, the Cardinals have a 3-0 lead.
Was I singing the praises of Hairston's defensive play? Well, this one, not so good. Catches just the lip of the grass and the dirt, and that keeps that ball down. Just hits it, keeps it down instead of having it bounce up, and it beats Hairston between the wickets. You can see that interference there. Molina running into Hairston. That would have ensured that he was going to score the run anyway, and the third base umpire right on top of it.
Yeah, Tim Timmons calling obstruction right away. Didn't matter where the throw was headed. The ball in play. Garcia could have advanced, but Molina was going to score the run. So it is Molina who drives in a run with a double. And he scores the third Cardinal run. Jerry Hairston makes a fantastic play for out number 2. Lets one go right between his legs with the pitcher at the plate. And 2 runs are in. The Cardinals with a big early lead. Just what they were looking for tonight in their home ballpark. Rafael for call with 2 away. And Greinke will play it off the top of the mound. Side retired when a productive inning for St. Louis. And a defensive blunder for Milwaukee. 3-0 Cardinals. We go to the third. This National League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by the new Capital One Cash Card. Busch Stadium, St. Louis. And they were roaring just a moment ago as the Cardinals get 3 on the board. An RBI double from Molina. And a 2-run error between the legs of Jerry Hairston at third base. To the third we go. Jonathan Lucroy will lead off. Jaime Garcia now pitching with a lead, which is similar to what he had in Milwaukee in Game 1. Carried a 5-2 lead into that 5th inning in Game 1 and didn't make it through the 5th inning. Tony La Russa hoping for better results tonight. Lucroy was at the plate when Carlos Gomez was caught stealing. Into center field, shallow center. Jay got a good jump, makes the play for out number 1. Now a reminder to catch all the action of the 2011 Major League Baseball World Series beginning Wednesday, October 19th. Join the World Series debate at MLBFancave.com and follow the action on Twitter with the hashtag World Series. Legends are born in October. One out for Zach Greinke, the Milwaukee pitcher. Greinke thought he had pitched out of an inning in the second. And he shoots that through the hole for a base hit. Both of these pitchers, Ron, can swing the bats a little bit, both Greinke and Garcia.
Well, Greinke grew up playing shortstop as a kid and always has had a good bat. and came to the National League this year and has no problem in that 9th hole.
That's Greinke's first hit of this LCS. He was 0 for 3 first time around. And now back to the top of the order in Corey Hart. Hart just one hit in this series. He was a strikeout victim his last time up. John, you're a big believer in shutdown innings, and we've talked a lot about it, but it's so elevated in the postseason. After your team gives you some runs, pitcher comes back on the mound trying to put up a 0.
Yeah, it's really important. Game 1 for Garcia did not go so well. 6 runs came in shutdown innings, and certainly you know, more than anything else, it's a momentum kill, and it's a feel good for your team. When your team rewards you with runs, it's really important you go reward them with a 0.
Garcia burst onto the scene last season, 2010. He had Tommy John surgery, the ligament replacement surgery in 09. He missed the entire season. Finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting last year, and he followed it up with a 13-win season this year. But a career high in starts, a career high in innings pitched, 32 starts, 194 innings. Tony La Russa liked the fact that he was 3-0 in the month of September. Hart breaks his bat. That is falling fast, and that's down for a hit. Greinke on his way to 3rd. The Brewer pitcher taking the extra base. And here comes Milwaukee. Back-to-back hits with 1 out. And now they'll bring the tying run to the plate in the 3rd.
Well, when you see a broken bat hit, you say to yourself, well, it's a good pitch by the pitcher and not for the hitter, but that's not true. The ball was up in the strike zone a little bit for Garcia. He's a guy that's got to live around the knees.
Greinke with a great read and good speed. He can run for a pitcher. Gets to 3rd base on that hit.
I think after running from 1st to 3rd, he'd be warm, but he got cold by the time he got to 3rd.
He was running so fast the wind speed got to him. Jerry Hairston. Well, you know, Hairston would love to redeem himself after letting one go between the legs. 2 runs scoring for the Cardinals. Hairston flew out to center field in the 1st inning. Garcia pounds a strike in there. Garcia does induce a lot of ground ball double plays. As a matter of fact, he finished 3rd in the National League with 25 ground ball double plays. As Ron was saying, you got to stay down in the strike zone to do that, and that's where he has to be successful. One and 2. He goes upstairs, and Hairston a big cut. He got him. A strikeout for Garcia. That's a big one. Out number 2. Ryan Braun coming up. And here's the best in the game, brought to you by the Audi A8. Ryan Braun, Brewers postseason hits leader, had a base hit double in the 1st inning. Now 22 hits. Looking at Brewers franchise history here. Matches Paul Molitor and Robin Yount, a couple of Hall of Famers. Braun bats with runners at the corners. Like Robin Yount, Ryan Braun hoping to play his entire career in Milwaukee. Had 5 years left on a contract that was extended this year by 5 more seasons. So
it's all said and done, a 10-year deal for Ryan Braun. They'll keep him in a Brewers uniform until his late 30s.
Well, you saw that right there. 0 for 22 with 2 outs. 2 out runs are always big at any time in a game, but right there, that's a number you don't see Milwaukee have too often.
Greinke, the pitcher, at third base. Corey Hart at first. And Braun gets sawed off. Pujols on the run. Foul territory. Makes the catch. Oh, what a play. Albert Pujols. The Gold Glover at first. Brings one in to end the inning and end the Braun at bat. Brewers 3-0 in Game 5, and pound-for-pound king Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao puts his welterweight title on the line against 3-division world champion Juan Manuel Marquez. It's a fierce rivalry. It comes to you Saturday, November 12th, live on pay-per-view. And a rivalry here as well, division rivals, the Brewers and the Cardinals. As John Jay slices one of the seats. Ball and a strike on John Jay starting this third inning. Cardinals getting 3 runs on 2 hits in the second. Costly error in the second inning by Jerry Hairston. Jay had a 3-hit game in Game 2, scoring 3 runs ahead of Pujols, and a flare. Betancourt is back, and Betancourt makes the catch. Wow, 2 outstanding over-the-shoulder plays. Betancourt and Pujols on the highlight reel already.
When you watch a shortstop make this play, he doesn't even look at the baseball. He runs to a spot, picks it up over his shoulder. At the last minute, sticks out that glove. What a fine play by Betancourt on the full run.
Might have one-upped Albert Pujols. So the first out for Greinke, and now Pujols will hit. Albert with a tremendous catch. It was in foul territory, but it ended the at-bat of Ryan Braun and ended the inning for Jaime Garcia.
Well, we always talk about his offense, but defensively as good as they get. 2 gold gloves for Albert Pujols, and then making like a tight end over the shoulder catch. Zach Greinke needed a defensive play, did not get it. Garcia did.
Greinke falling behind 3-0 on Albert. Twice a Gold Glove winner at first base. Pujols will swing away 3-0 at times. Not this time. He takes ball 4. And the Cardinals have a base runner for Lance Berkman. Bergman had the first Cardinal hit last inning. Started it with a single. He hit it hard to center field. What a comeback it was for Lance Berkman. Last year hit .248, just 14 home runs and just 58 RBIs. A .301 hitter this year. 31 homers, 94 runs batted in. Breakout year for St. Louis, and had such a good year that the Cardinals signed him up to another one for next season. He'll be back in Cardinal red next year. Impressive numbers against Zach Greinke. Bouncing ball, an odd setup here for the Brewers. They go 6-5-3 and they cannot turn it. With the shift on, it puts the middle infielders in unusual positions. So the put out at second base officially goes 6-5, but Berkman reaches on a fielder's choice.
Well, nice play here by Betancourt, but if you're going to have someone who's playing third base, you want Hairston, who's played a lot of shortstop in his career. Going to his left, that's a play you usually see from a second baseman as Betancourt gets that ball to Hairston.
Jerry Hairston right in the middle of it defensively here tonight. Matt Holliday with a runner at first. 2 men are out now.
Talk about whether or not the hand has been an issue, and the numbers sure beg that it has, but I'm Milwaukee. I'm pitching him in to see if he can turn on a ball and hit it with power that way. All his damage and a lot of his hits are gone to the right side of the field because of the shift on the ground, and then of course the home run that carried out in right field right around the pole.
He's also had some breaking balls down that he's been able to reach out and stay back on, but that ball inside has been too much for him to handle so far.
Holliday did double to left center yesterday. He pulled one. It was a breaking ball from Randy Wolf, however. And he looks a tad late in the count at a ball and 2 strikes on Matt Holliday. Bergman takes off, and he will swipe second base without a throw. He got a big jump. And a stolen base for Lance Berkman. Sneak attack.
Well, that's just the pitcher kind of falling asleep on watching the runner and keeping Berkman close, just concentrating on the hitter. And Berkman knew it, took off before he even started to the plate.
Berkman had just 2 stolen bases during the regular season. Puts himself into scoring position. And a 2-2 count on Matt Holliday. Grounder out to Betancourt. He winds it up. And the side is retired. A scoreless inning for Zach Greinke. 3 in the books. We're on our way to the 4th. Garcia back to the mound. Nothing as we go to the fourth. The Conan Blimp in aerial coverage brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Make sure you don't miss a moment of Conan. All new weeknights only on TBS.
Hey, you know that thing is big, orange, and full of hot air. You know what that reminds me of?
What's that, John?
Boot Shambi. Buddy.
We send our best out to John Shambi. He's unable to call this game. Got a bit of laryngitis. A colleague in the business and unable to work on the radio. So it's a nice shout out for him.
Yeah, you know, I'm
along
sure
with the insult.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll appreciate being called orange and full of hot air.
Well, the orange is the hair.
Prince Fielder starting it off for Milwaukee in the fourth. Fielder, Weeks, and Betancourt due up against Jaime Garcia. He's posted 3 shutouts so far, but the Brewers have 4 hits in the first 3 innings. Fielder was at the plate with Braun at second in the first inning, and Garcia struck him out.
Well, it was a big moment in the first inning, and he got to 0-2 real quick, and this is how he did it. Just a real good curveball for a strike and a hard slider, swing and a miss. Then he tried to make him perfect, tried to get him to chase, that's fine. Then he threw a fastball that cut away, and another good curveball for a swing and a miss.
See what he gives him on a 1-2. Fielder pulls one out to Punto. And there is out number 1. Jaime Garcia putting together an impressive streak against Milwaukee. No earned runs allowed by Garcia against the Brewers here at Busch Stadium, covering 28+ innings now.
We talked about these starters not going more than 5 innings. It's not like the Cardinals haven't gone and gotten them some runs early. They've scored first every game in this series. But credit Milwaukee and their firepower. They took advantage of some pitches up in the zone and really put some crooked numbers up there and knocked out the starting pitchers.
Ricky Weeks with 1 away. Back up the middle. Right there, Punto. 2 outs for Garcia. Well-positioned second baseman for the Cardinals. Garcia to face Uni Betancourt now. See the numbers home and road against Milwaukee. His 2 road starts in 9 innings, giving up 16 hits total, and still has that scoreless inning streak going. As Betancourt lifts one in the air to left, Holiday is back. And this is going to be a quick inning for Jaime Garcia. 3 up, 3 down. To the bottom of the fourth we go. Tuesday. Prepare for nerd domination. Don't miss the Big Bang Theory, all new to TBS. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, starting this Tuesday. Downtown St. Louis. And Game 5 of this best-of-7 National League Championship Series. Zach Greinke back on the mound. He starts his 4th inning of work. David Freese will lead off. Cardinals scoring 3 runs in the 2nd inning. And 1 is earned against Greinke. Freese was hit by a pitch his last time up, and he scored the 2nd Cardinal run. Saw the numbers for Zach Greinke in his postseason, an ERA over 8, but Milwaukee's been able to win both of his starts. Greinke was the winning pitcher in his start against St. Louis. As Freese drives 1 to right. 9 hits for David Freese in this LCS. Well, moments ago we spoke with Brewers manager Ron Roenicke as it's time to talk. Brought to you by Charles Schwab. Now, Ron, so far in this game, what are you seeing from your starter, Zach Greinke?
Well, he's got a good fastball today. Locating it okay. I think he needs to probably change speeds a little bit more. But throw that slow curveball and try to get him off balance a little bit.
Ron, heck of a try by Corey Hart, giving up his body there in right field. Might be even a better play by Gomez to back it up. Yeah, I thought he had a chance at it. Molina's, again, giving us some tough at-bats, and he squared it up good. I thought Corey had a chance, a nice effort, just didn't quite get it.
And we thank Ron Roenicke for his time between innings. Molina is back in there after that RBI double. Cardinals with a leadoff runner at first. A little flare, long run. Ricky Weeks is back. Can't make the play. It's down for a hit. And 2 on for the Cardinals. 2nd hit of the night for Yadier Molina. Ron Roenicke just referenced Molina's tough at-bats against the Brewers, and he comes up with his 2nd hit of the night. Well, he gets jammed, but Ricky Weeks, who hurt that ankle in the middle of the season, has been slowed just enough and wasn't able to get back there to make that play. We saw it an inning earlier. Betancourt make a fine play and just out of the reach of Ricky Weeks. The Brewers defense getting exposed a little bit here tonight.
Interesting decision here for Tony La Russa. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Pitchers on deck. Typically, you wouldn't bunt the guys over for your pitcher on deck, but with a 3-0 lead, maybe you put a little more pressure on the defense in Milwaukee and try to get runners on 2nd and 3rd. See how he plays it.
Punto lined out. He hit a shot to Jerry Hairston back in the 2nd inning. Hairston made a great play on that line drive, a diving catch. Punto is bunting, and Greinke, who was breaking toward 3rd, recovers to get the out. Very interesting move here. A sacrifice bunt from an 8th-place hitter in the National League lineup. You rarely see that. And now the pitcher Garcia is up there to drive in some runs. You know, we talked about that both managers are taking some chances in this series to get as many points on the board as they can. You usually wouldn't do this. Perfect bunt here by Punto. Greinke is such a great fielder. He was breaking the 3rd base like you're supposed to try to get the force play. Tells you really what La Russa thinks of Garcia and his ability to handle the bat. It's Garcia who hit the smash in the 2nd inning between the legs of Hairston. Certainly got to be heads up for a squeeze bunt here. Garcia takes one inside. Jaime Garcia had a home run earlier this season against Milwaukee. That came against Sean Markham. Drove in 6 runs during the season, 3 of them on 1 swing of the bat at Miller Park.
Once again, out of the windup, the runner can get a little bit bigger lead, even if there is a squeeze or safety squeeze put on. The runner at 3rd can kind of walk down the line, and he's
started then stopped, and the pitch out comes, and La Russa steals a ball from Zach Greinke with that move.
he's telling his third base coach, Jose Oquendo, want Freese to keep faking like he's coming in. Good fake, gets back, and as a pitcher, you're taught what, John, when a guy breaks from third?
Well, you're taught to throw it, up and in, and the catcher will get it, but I just don't like the pitcher out of the windup here because too many things can happen.
Garcia swings away, bouncing ball. Betancourt's only play is first base, and Jaime Garcia cashes in the sacrifice bunt. 4-0 Cardinals.
We're going to see here the infield's in, Ron. He really doesn't have a chance because you can get a real good jump. No one wanted to take a chance right here. Still in the beginning part of the game. A big inning can start.
See, the difference is out of the windup, Freese gets 2 to 3 more steps than he would if he was in the stretch. That gave Betancourt no time to make that play at home.
Now 2 outs, runner at third. And Rafael Furcal trying to add to this Cardinal lead. Furcal in a slump here in this LCS. He has just 1 hit in his last 16 at-bats. He's 0 for 2 tonight. 3 for 20 total. That was the slow curveball that Ron Renicky was calling for from his starting pitcher.
I know why you don't like that pitch now. He telegraphs it. He lets the hitter know. He slows his entire body down before he throws that pitch.
It's an odd game for Greinke. He does not deserve to have given up 4 runs. Obviously, the error, 2 of them. A play just out of the reach of a glove, and that's the way it can go for a team when baseball is so much a game of inches, and it's a 1-0 game in my mind. If the third baseman can make that play, if it doesn't hit the column.
Now Greinke trying to keep it from a 5-0 Cardinal lead. The 1-2 for call. Just able to get a piece.
Where the pressure is for me when you look at the 2 outs, 1-2 count, and the home and road splits there for Greinke, pretty stark, right? Is that with the runner on third, I don't know if it takes away that good hard slider in the dirt, but you got to be a little more careful that it doesn't elude your catcher.
Boy, gutsy move by Cardinal manager Tony La Russa. A sacrifice bunt with his 8th place hitter. And it has led to a run as Garcia puts the bat on the ball. And now for call into center. Gomez coming in, lays out and makes the catch. Carlos Gomez. A beautiful catch in center field to end the inning. That could be big. Speedy Gomez brings it in. Side retired. at Busch Stadium, St. Louis, and the Cardinals now lead it 4-0. Carlos Gomez, who made that fine catch to end the fourth, saving another Cardinal run, will lead off against Jaime Garcia. Gomez singled his last time up. The Brewers have 4 hits, as do the Cardinals, but Garcia is still a 0 on the board. He's pitching a shutout through the first 4 innings. This has been the nemesis inning for St. Louis starting pitchers in this series. Only Chris Carpenter has been able to get through the 5th. Tony La Russa asking a lot out of his bullpen in this series. Calling that a foul ball. La Russa wanting an explanation.
What he wanted, Tony wanted to have it checked to the first base umpire if he swung or not. He didn't hear the call of the foul ball.
And now Ron Renick's saying that's a ball, or asking if it was foul. And Bill Miller, the old-fashioned way, giving his explanation via the shout. And there is the strikeout. Garcia strikes out Gomez. Moments ago, we spoke with Cardinal manager Tony La Russa. It's time to talk. Brought to you by Charles Schwab. Okay, Tony, allow us into your mind. You bunt with your 8th place hitter, trying to set up an inning there with your pitcher coming up.
Well, you have 2 shots. I mean, Jaime actually has a real nice stroke. And then if he makes it out, you still got Furcal, who's been tough on Greinke. So you got 2 chances to put the ball in play, and turned out all right. We had the contact. David got a nice break.
Tony, describe to our audience how special a player Yadier Molina is.
How about 20 on a scale of 10 in every category? I mean, I said I'd pay just to be here and watch him 162 games. He does everything as good as it can be done on the defensive side, and you've seen he's one of the toughest outs in our lineup.
And thanks to Tony La Russa, chat between innings as Jonathan Lucroy comes up with an infield hit. As we play that interview back. Yadier Molina with 2 hits and an RBI. Let's take you back to the Lucroy infield hit. Pujols almost brought it down.
He can get to just about anything. Look how far off the base he plays. If you're a starting pitcher, you got to get over to first on just about any play.
Garcia didn't cover right away, and that might have cost him an out there. Greinke drops a bunt down. Pretty good one. Garcia makes the play for out number 2. That'll be a sacrifice bunt for Zach Greinke. And the Brewers looking for a 2-out run producing hit as they go back to the top of the order.
Better time to snap out of your 2-out runs. Goose egg that Milwaukee has had. Feel like you're still in the game. You get a hit here. Feel a little bit better about yourself. No 2-out. Runs scored in this series.
Hart has big power. He's a guy that can give you a quick strike at the plate. It's 5 home runs against the Cardinals this season. That's the most in the majors against St. Louis. During the regular season, Hart hit 26 home runs, but finds himself down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he's been painting that bottom of the strike zone all game long so far. Hart thought it was down.
Just got a piece. A foul tip off the bat of Corey Hart. Count remains at 0-2. Got a piece of Yadier Molina as well.
Well, that's one where the catcher has his hand out to catch that ball, and it's ticked. And what happens is that it changed direction, and it catches the catcher's thumb. See how that goes down, and it just catches the catcher's thumb right on the bottom of the glove.
Another 0-2 from Garcia. Tony La Russa saying he'd pay to watch Yadier Molina play. He does everything well. Such a good catcher behind the plate. Not only does he block balls, but he throws exceptionally well. Can handle that young pitcher. Lucroy out at second. And the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And when you have a young pitcher like Jaime Garcia, just 25 years of age, just his 2nd year, that might be the most important aspect of your catcher. Knows just when to settle him down or speed him up. Brewers did some damage in the 5th inning. The first 4 batters reached on hits. Fielder hit the home run that knocked him out. 3rd time through the batting order here in the 5th. And it's 3-2. Had him 0-2, and now it's full.
Good discipline there by Hart. I thought that was a real good pitch to get a swing over the ball down low, but good discipline.
Hasn't thrown one pitch away to Hart in this at bat.
Down the line foul. Hart checking his bat. Corey Hart's power is to right center. 2-time All-Star for Milwaukee. Did not start in last night's game. It was Nigel Morgan hitting in the leadoff spot. Unusual leadoff hitter in Corey Hart. Not your prototypical leadoff man. Here comes the payoff pitch, and Hart sends one to left center. A base hit. Jonathan Lucroy around 3rd, and he will score as Corey Hart puts the Brewers on the board. The first 2-out run produced by Milwaukee. And Hart drives him in to make it 4-1 St. Louis.
This is the only pitch of the at bat that got up down over the middle of the strike zone. He was able to elevate it over the shortstop.
You almost felt like Corey Hart was going to have a good game tonight. Really, for lack of a better term, benched last night with Kotze in right field, and comes back with some line drives.
Hart 2 for 2, or rather 2 for 3. Had 2 hits his last 2 times up, and this is exactly what Milwaukee wanted to see. Early activity in the Cardinal bullpen as Octavio Dotel starts to get loose. Tony La Russa told us earlier today he wasn't going to go too quick with the hook, but if runs were coming in, that's when he would make a decision. A 4-1 lead as La Russa sticking with Jaime Garcia. Runner at first for Hairston, and there's a base hit to left. Jerry Hairston on the first pitch. The 3rd hit of the inning. And the Brewers will suddenly bring the tying run to the plate in Ryan Braun, and decision time for Tony La Russa.
It's exactly what happened to him in Garcia's first start, is that Garcia was sailing along after he gave up the 2-run home run to Braun in the first. Then he went 3 2/3, pitching really well. And the next thing you know, the next 25 pitches have produced 4 runs. Hard to get your reliever up and ready in time when it happens this quickly.
So here is Ryan Braun, who doubled off Garcia in the first inning. Albert Pujols made a great over-the-shoulder catch on Braun to win the 3rd. 2 on, 2 out. Tying run at the plate for Milwaukee.
Every pitcher has a moment where they start reminding themselves of what could go wrong or what did go wrong. You got to eliminate it from your mind. You've got to make pitches. Albert's going to come out, maybe another way of stalling some time. But as a pitcher, this is a big moment to prove to yourself, forget the team, prove to yourself that you can make a pitch and get a big out against arguably one of the best hitters in the National League with the tying run at the plate.
They were stalling. Dotel is ready.
And here comes Tony La Russa. So the Cardinal manager going back to his bullpen, and yet another night when a St. Louis starter cannot get through the fifth. Garcia will give the ball to his skipper. We'll take a timeout. Dotel coming in with Braun at the plate.
Does as a pitcher.
Now it's time for a Bank of America game break. American League Championship Series off tonight, but Nelson Cruz, what an impact he has had. The home run ball, a big part of it, hit a grand slam that was a game winner. And then yesterday, or 2 days ago, I beg your pardon, hit a 3-run home run for the Texas Rangers. The former Brewer farmhand, he came up with Prince Fielder and Ricky Weeks. Nelson Cruz with 5 home runs in the American League Championship Series, just a 5th player in postseason history with 5 home runs in a series. Game 6, Rangers-Tigers, Saturday on Fox. That'll be on at 8 p.m. Eastern. Joe Buck, Tim McCarville will have the call as that series returns to Arlington, and the Rangers a win away from a World Series. So a pitching change, a common theme for Tony La Russa in this series. Octavio Dotel taking a lot of time between pitches here. I think the big question is he ready to come into this game? He didn't have much time to get loose to enter this game.
Well, you got to go on experience. I know you know your body, but I saw about 8 firm pitches in the bullpen. Might have been more, but that's what I saw.
Just sometimes you have to come in the game prematurely, and you use those pitches you'll warm up with will be the pitches that you would have had in the bullpen. Well, pretty not shocking move by Tony La Russa, but Garcia pitched well. You know, it might be the first time we've ever seen a manager have more confidence in his pitcher as a hitter, not a pitcher, because he took him out in this big situation.
A great point. Garcia drove in the 4th run for St. Louis. So here is Ryan Braun with Dotel on the mound. 2 on, 2 out in the 5th inning.
Still maintain. I mean, St. Louis has defied every law of baseball to get here. Let's just say they improbable at best, but this formula certainly, you can't imagine if it continues like this, it bodes well for him, because this was a game that easily Garcia could have given him 6-7 innings. He was 1 out away from giving him 2 more innings.
Called strike.
The use of the bullpen almost feels like a robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of thing.
He got the benefit of this one.
Now there is a day off in this series tomorrow. This league championship series will resume on Sunday in Milwaukee. So La Russa will empty it out here today, but he's going to ask 4 1/3 innings from his bullpen tonight. Ryan Braun lifetime against Octavio Dotel is 2 for 9. In a big spot for the Brewers. 2 on, 2 out. Got the corner again. A ball and 2 strikes. Dotel finding the spot. That's a story the bullpen has already covered 17 1/3 in this series. And start adding to it from now on. To that same spot, missed it by a little bit, and it goes to 2-2. Ryan Braun, one of the best 2-strike hitters in all of baseball. He finished 3rd in the National League in 2-strike hits this year.
His last at bat against Dotel, he was hitting the ball out of the ballpark on a slider from Dotel.
The 2-2. Braun slices one foul.
So far he's come in and hasn't thrown a pitch above the knees. Everything is in a tight little quadrant on the outside part of the plate. Staying stubborn on that side, making Braun try to make the adjustment.
Another 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Dotel strikes out Braun. The bullpen delivers again for the Cardinals. Could be the ball game right there. Brewers strand 2, 4-1 St. Louis. Let's take a look at the language of the game brought to you by Foster's. And tonight we're talking about quality starts by teams. Phillies and the Giants, the top two. The Milwaukee Brewers with 98 quality starts, 6 innings or more, and 3 earned runs or less, making our 2 pitchers cringe up here.
You're not going to find that with the Cardinals in the postseason, I'll tell you that. Man.
Bump that up by an inning, and it's a better stat.
Yeah, 7 innings, 3 earned runs.
John Jay breaks his bat, and the fly ball out to Corey Hart. Zach Greinke retires Jay to start the 5th inning. So the Brewers get a run in the 5th inning, but Dotel strikes out Ryan Braun to end it, stranding 2 base runners.
Very rarely in a National League game will you say a pitcher that's losing in the game longer than the guy who is winning the game.
Greinke stays as Garcia is out after 4 2/3. Greinke has given up the 4 runs at this point, 2 of them earned. Albert Pujols with 1 away. Pujols walked his last time up. On the ground towards second. Weeks backhands. Low throw. Fielder can't handle it. And it will bounce into the dugout. Well, the Brewers are kicking it around the ballpark tonight. It's another error for Ricky Weeks. You get an opportunity to retire Albert Pujols and don't take advantage. You're asking for it.
Well, occasionally when you play these shifts, you're putting people in positions that they've never been before. We know that Ricky Weeks, you said it before, Brian, has a strong arm, but makes a poor throw here and no chance for fielder to make that play. He had a lot more time than he thought. He could have stood up straight and fired a strike over there, but rushed his throw.
Weeks with his 3rd error in this series. And the 2nd error for Milwaukee in this game. Now a runner at second for Lance Berkman. Berkman singled and scored in the 2nd. He reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning. Actually stole a base in the 3rd. Brewers go right back to a defensive shift with 3 infielders playing in the pull position against Berkman.
Greinke does not force his fastball, and he has that delivery that comes out very athletic, and he lands correctly, and he uses the inside part of his left leg, and that fastball has more life. When he forces it, trying to get it in an area, it then has less life and less effectiveness against the Cardinal hitters.
Two balls and a strike on Berkman. Pujols at second, and Berkman into center field. Gomez is over. He's got it for out number 2. Pujols stays put at second base, and it'll be Matt Holliday. Zach Greinke during the regular season was a 16-game winner. He won 16 of 28 decisions, or starts, I should say.
And he didn't make his first start, Brian, until the first week of May.
Thought it was a great move from Milwaukee to bolster their staff, give them the chance to be a front runner in their division. Obviously it was. He's going to win a lot of games from Milwaukee if he can stay healthy.
Still under contract next year for the Brewers. He missed his first 6 starts. He had a fractured rib playing basketball prior to games during spring training. Playing pickup basketball, and it cost him a little over a month as Holliday swings and fouls one back.
Holliday's best swings are on fastballs away or the breaking pitch, which seems to really speed up his bat. That fastball in is the one that's given him trouble.
Holiday is hitless tonight against Greinke. And he comes in there with a fastball. Greinke pitched game 2 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. In the LDS, it was a 9-4 Milwaukee win. Greinke went just 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. 1-2 on Holiday. You got Albert Pujols at second base. You saw Lucroy ask for that pitch up in the strike zone. I think Greinke felt like Pujols might be relaying some of that information. He steps off, and now he's going to bring Lucroy out.
You can't give directionals when you're catching with a guy on second. One of the easiest way to steal signs is when your catcher is giving, let's say, a series of 3 or 4 signs. And when he goes to a fastball, he points to a position on the plate. If he does that, then you absolutely know he's coming with the number 1. Got to disguise those signs. Just hope that you and the pitcher are on the same wavelength.
We'll see if Lucroy even bothers. He doesn't. Greinke's ready. The 1-2. And it's on the ground. And Betancourt with a diving stop throw to first. Not in time. Holiday can still run, and he beat that one out. An infield hit. And that whole sequence there, John, it changed for Zach Greinke. Instead of going with a fastball up, he ends up with a breaking ball against Holiday.
Yeah, it's a pitch he can get to, and he's strong enough, even if he's out in front, to hit it hard. And like you said, he can still run. Good play keeping it in front of him here and preventing a run from scoring. But again, sometimes you got to make a hitter do something against you before you try to change your approach. And he was not able to handle a fastball in, Ron, like you talked about.
Saw Pujols thinking if that ball got away from fielder at all, he would have tried to score in that play. But fine try by Betancourt.
Saves a run for the time being. Runners at the corners now, and the hottest Cardinal hitter, David Freese, at the plate. Freese has reached twice. He was hit by a pitch in the second, and then he singled in the fourth. He scored 2 runs. See where he ranks in Cardinal franchise history. Got a piece of the corner, says Bill Miller. 1-1 on David Freese.
Remember now, in game 2 in the 5th inning, same circumstance. Albert Pujols, who gets probably about 20 to 30 feet off the third base bag, allowed him to read a ball in the dirt and score on a wild pitch.
Well, there was a stretch in this series. David Freese had 5 consecutive hits. Had hits in his final 2 at-bats in game 2. Included a home run, 2 RBIs, and then 3 hits in his first 3 at-bats in game 3. Part of that 4-3 Cardinal win. And now it's 3-1 on David Freese. This inning should be over. Remember the error by Weeks on the ground ball by Pujols. An error and an infield hit. The Cardinals threatening to add to their lead. Freese walks, bases loaded.
You see Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, getting some walking orders from his manager, Ron Renicky, to go and bring to Zach Greinke.
They ever had a play where the third baseman sneaks in as the pitch is thrown, they could get Albert Pujols sneaking off. getting aggressively. Don't know if he'll be as aggressive here with the bases loaded, but for Zach Greinke, he's got to get back to the fastball, horn it in for a strike, and then trying to maybe get something nibbling away. But breaking pitches have been less than good this inning.
Well, Kranitz has had his say. You saw a shot of Cameron Lowe in the bullpen. Greinke without a strikeout tonight. He is a strikeout pitcher. Had over 200 Ks during the regular season. In a spot here against Yadier Molina, the free swinger. Molina 2 for 2 with an RBI against Greinke tonight.
Well, fake the third out of the stretch by Zach Greinke to try to keep Pujols close, although the bases are loaded, no need. I think for Greinke, when I watch him pitching now, John, talking about getting back to where he was, with all the misplays behind him, looks like he's pitching with frustration right now.
Well, the interesting thing here is he's out of the stretch with 2 outs. He's been out of the windup with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. If there's ever a time to go back to the windup, it would be now with 2 outs if you think that's your best chance of throwing your most quality pitches.
Greinke did not give up a hit in the regular season with the bases loaded in 14 at-bats. As Molina takes an off-speed pitch. Slow curve from Zach Greinke. Pujols at third, reached on an error. Holiday an infield hit. Freeze walked. Big spot for the Cardinals. Maybe a put-away inning here in the 5th. Back to the windup goes Greinke. And Molina hits it high in the air, center field. Back is Gomez with room. He's got it. Greinke strands the bases loaded. Cardinals cannot score. We head to the 6th, 4-1 St. Louis. This National League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by the new Capital One Cash Card. 5 in the books, downtown St. Louis. And a beautiful shot from up above as you look down on Busch Stadium. 4-1 Cardinals. St. Louis scored 3 runs in the second inning. 2 errors by the Brewers. The first one led to 2 runs. The error in the 5th did not, as Greinke was able to pitch out of it, stranding the bases loaded. Now Dotel to start an inning. He finished out the 5th, striking out Braun. He faces Fielder to begin the 6th. The St. Louis Cardinals trying to do something that has not been done. Talking about the starting pitcher story. Last time any team in the postseason had their starters go no more than 5 innings in the first 5 games of a series. Got to go to the 1984 World Series. San Diego Padres, and they lost that World Series in 5 games to the Tigers that year. Fielder bounces one to Pujols. Out number 1 turns Fielder 0 for 3 tonight. What was interesting about the '84 World Series, the San Diego starters went just 10 1/3 innings combined in the 5 games of that of that World Series. So it's not that drastic for Tony La Russa starting pitchers. But only Carpenter has been able to get through the 5th inning. Yet here they are, all tied at 2 apiece in the series and with a 4-1 lead in Game 5. Dotel against Ricky Weeks with 1 away. Rick Kranitz discussion with his battery. Could be a big inning for Zach Greinke, stranding the bases loaded in the 5th. The Cardinal bullpen was stellar in Game 3. 12 up, 12 down for the bullpen following up Chris Carpenter. And holding down the Brewers, a 4-3 St. Louis win.
Tell, like we talked about before, when he's right, that long arm action gets on you quick with a fastball. His slider doesn't break a ton. He's got a curveball also, but all he's got to do is show that that slider might start in at all and break a little bit, and you get these hitters just that quick movement like it might be inside. And he's had success in this series in the last 2 times he's come in.
He's had success because he's been able to paint that fastball on the outside corner. If you look at his cluster of fastballs on the outside part, they either are on the corner or just missing.
Dotel, a former closer, traded by the Blue Jays to the Cardinals. Saw him yesterday for a scoreless inning. And the 2-2, a swing and a miss. Ricky Weeks down on strikes. Octavio Dotel has retired 3. 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th. So you can celebrate America's game with Chevrolet. Upload a picture of your youth player and you could win tickets to the 2011 postseason among hundreds of other MLB prizes. Be a part of the Chevy Centennial celebration and enter for a chance to win at ChevyBaseball.com. 2 outs. Here is Betancourt. Swinging away at the first pitch. And Octavio Dotel is going to give the Cardinals 4 big outs. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. St. Louis 4-1 over Milwaukee. We go to the home 6th. Second inning for St. Louis. They added one in the fourth. It was an RBI groundout by their pitcher, Jaime Garcia, who was then taken out of the fifth inning. But Octavio Dotel gives Tony La Russa and the Cardinals 4 up, 4 down. And now we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Zach Greinke, the Brewers starter, back on the mound. Nick Punto leads off. First ball swinging. Fly ball to Gomez. One away. Rick Kranitz is on the phone to the Milwaukee bullpen. And with Dotel's spot in the batting order coming up, going to have a bat off the bench for St. Louis. Alan Craig, who started yesterday's game, will come on to hit. So left-hander Chris Narveson will begin to get loose. Alan Craig yesterday. How about the pitch he hit out against Randy Wolf? 2 solo home runs by St. Louis in yesterday's game. Matt Holliday and Alan Craig took one off the shoe tops and into the Cardinal bullpen.
See, to me, that's a better speed for the curveball. Still enough change of speeds. 81 miles an hour versus 66.
Yeah.
It has more of an effect, I think, for changing the eyes of the hitter than a 66 mile an hour. You can mix a couple of them, but that's the kind of curveball, a hard slider, whatever you want to call it.
The only difference from the first game that he pitched, he's not getting hurt with that curveball because he's not throwing the first strike today.
Backhanded by Betancourt. Long throw, and Fielder digs this one out. Nice play on both ends, Betancourt and Fielder. And there is out number 2.
Well, nice play by Betancourt to get there. And we've seen all series long, only once did he not have a pickup, did Prince Fielder. Gets there, sets himself, and Fielder makes a nice play.
That's an area of weakness for the Brewers. Their infield defense, especially Fielder at first base and the picks, but he has saved a bunch of outs in the series already. And a game saver yesterday, perhaps, for Milwaukee on a pick in the dirt. 2 outs, top of the order, Rafael Furcal against Greinke. And a broken bat, base hit. That's going to bounce fair, and it'll go to the corner. Furcal on his way to second. It's a 2-out double for Rafael Furcal. He was in a long skid at the plate, one for his last 17 before that base hit.
Jams him inside, breaks his bat, it sounded like. Nonetheless, hits it down the line for a 2-out double.
Ball did not immediately come off the wall to Hart, so Furcal able to get in there.
And now John Jay with a runner at second. The Brewers have a left-hander, Chris Narveson, in the bullpen. But it is Greinke who stays against the left-handed hitter, Jay. And on the first pitch, Betancourt bobbles, and another error by Milwaukee. That is the 3rd of the game, and that is going to bring Albert Pujols to the plate in this inning.
Well, sometimes it's shocking in the postseason when you see teams that have gotten here and played well all year long start to make errors. And to me, errors come from a little bit of frustration, come from inability to get that ball in front of him, and even more so, I think, feeling a little bit of the pressure here in this 5th game of the series.
5 errors in this series by Milwaukee. And in the postseason, they have committed 8 errors in the 10 games, 3 of those coming tonight. The first one led to 2 runs. The second error, Greinke was able to strand the bases loaded. But a lot of extra pitches. It turned the lineup over. And now Albert Pujols will dig in with a chance to do big damage.
No better way to pick up your teammate as a pitcher than to get the best hitter out right here.
But they're getting awfully heavy. He's been picking them up all night.
Yeah, the 4 runs that are in, only 2 are earned against Greinke. First and third, 2 away. Down to the dirt, Luke Croy blocks it. Keeps for call at third base. Albert Pujols usually rises to the occasion as you advance in the postseason. His last 24 League Championship Series games, he's hitting .409. That includes 8 home runs and 22 driven in. Tied him up. Greinke comes inside with a fastball, and it's 1-2. An awkward swing by Pujols, which you don't see very often.
Hard to do 2 in a row against this guy. Got to use every quadrant of the plate. The imagination that you have, he's that good.
Going back with a breaking ball. And Pujols hits one to left, a base hit. Furcal will score. The Cardinals take advantage of the error. It is 5-1 St. Louis. Albert Pujols with an RBI single with 2 outs. And here comes the Brewer manager.
Now, this is just a slider right down the middle. Had him set up for something in the dirt. And that balance and that swing. You hate seeing it as a pitcher.
Well, the inability to make plays to the Brewers. I bet you Ron Rennike's tempted to take the team out, but he elects to take Greinke out.
Pitching change in St. Louis. Cardinals still have 2 on. We'll take a break and set up the new hurler when we come back. They lead 5-1, still 2 on, a pitching change here at Busch Stadium. And it was 26 years ago to the day. Ozzie Smith's magical home run in 1985. It was Game 5 of the NLCS against the Dodgers.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game on a home run by the Wizard.
By the Wizard, that iconic call from the legendary Jack Buck, and it was Ozzie Smith who threw out the first pitch tonight. Always great to see the Wizard. outstanding Hall of Fame shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals. Looks as spry as ever. He could probably do a backflip right now if he wanted to. Cardinals would go on in Game 6. Remember, Ozzie Smith's home run won that game. They would go on to Game 6. Jack Clark, a 3-run home run in the top of the 9th inning in Los Angeles, and they would advance to the World Series. That I-70 series between the Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals.
How about that call by the Hall of Famer, too?
Love it. You can still hear that call. You walk by the bust of Jack Buck outside the stadium. Zach Greinke is out. His defense let him down tonight. Now Chris Narveson is in for Milwaukee. And Berkman, slow roller. Hairston makes the play, and the out is recorded. A close play at first. The Brewers get out of the inning. Narveson on the first pitch, but the Cardinals add to their lead.
Of baseball. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
5-1, St. Louis. They lead the Brewers. As Carlos Gomez leads off, swinging away at the first pitch. Cardinals heavy into their bullpen now. Octavio Dotel goes an inning and a third, and the Cardinals now have Lance Lynn on the mound. He has been impressive in this LCS. He's not on the roster for the division series against Philadelphia. Had an oblique injury and was taken off the disabled list, made available for this series, and Lynn is a big part of La Russa's bullpen.
Well, was on the 60-day disabled list, came off in time to put him on this roster for this league championship series. He's been a starter his whole career. He's an innings eater, that kind of guy. But Dave Duncan loves him in the bullpen. His velocity goes from 90-91 to 94-95 as a reliever.
Quickly 0-2 on Carlos Gomez. And a ball and 2 strikes. Lynn, as a starter this year in AAA Memphis, went 7-3. And an ERA of 3.84. Well, he comes out of the bullpen bringing the heat. In the air for Pujols. He'll give it a look, and it is off the dugout. As we check in with Craig Sager for more on Lance Lynn.
We talked about in the AAA last year, he pitched for Oklahoma City in the deciding game of the playoffs. He struck out 16 batters. I talked to him before the game. I said, "You prefer to be a starter or reliever?" He goes, "Hey, I want to be a starter, but the fact that I can do both gives me a chance to pitch here." And that's why he's in there right now.
I think it's an interesting dilemma and a good choice they can make for next year on how they choose what position he fills for the Cardinals next year.
Kind of fits into that Phil Hughes, Jabba Chamberlain mode. He's breaking in the scene here in the big leagues and very effective as a reliever. And Dave Duncan, as you mentioned, likes him in that spot right now. Gomez, lazy fly ball to center field. John Jay for out number 1. Big Lance Lynn, 6'5", 250. Midwestern native. He was born in Indiana. From Brownsburg, Indiana. Zach Greinke ends up going 5 2/3. He gives up 5 runs, but only 2 of them earned in this game. 3 Milwaukee errors, leading to 3 Cardinal runs.
Somehow, some way, Milwaukee, the rest of this game's got to put some heat on the moves that La Russa's going to make with the bullpen, because the bullpen is gaining a lot of confidence for St. Louis, and you got to show some chink in the armor moving forward, whether you come back to win this game or not.
Jonathan Lucroy with a base hit back up the middle. So that breaks the string of 5 in a row retired by the Cardinal bullpen, and the Bluebirds are coming out here. That must mean Niger Morgan is coming up to the plate.
No. Tony Plush is coming up to the plate.
So you're right. Yeah. You don't have a problem with Niger Morgan. No. It's Tony Plush that they don't like. I see. His alter ego.
We're going to get you an alter ego name, John.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Well, Niger Morgan will pinch hit in the pitcher spot. Narveson gets 1 out. Certainly the onus on St. Louis to win this game tonight. This series is headed back to Milwaukee for Game 6 on Sunday. The last 2 games of the series, if necessary, in Milwaukee. Cardinals certainly not wanting to go to Milwaukee having to win 2 games at Miller Park. But with every out, pressure starting to build for the Brewer offense against this Cardinal bullpen.
They have been beating him with fastballs. He did get a hit down the line on the chalk. But I think you just got to keep pounding fastballs until he's able to turn one around.
On the ground to third, Freeze to second for 1. The turn to first. In time, a double play. The Cardinals go around the horn. Getting over as Lance Lynn puts up another 0 out of the bullpen. 3-2 advantage in this NLCS. Brian Anderson with Ron Darling, John Smoltz. And John, we're talking about this Cardinal bullpen. Tony La Russa goes early to the pen. What's the way to the finish line in your mind with La Russa tonight with his pen?
Well, until Milwaukee makes those moves hurt, I think everything that he's doing is working. We argued that, you know, starter had to go more than 5. Well, so far that's not the case.
As Matt Holliday rips one to left, a base hit on the first pitch. The new Brewer pitcher, Cameron Lowe, gives up a single to Holliday. A run for Milwaukee. You start to look ahead a little bit now, and Ron Renicky told us earlier today that his Game 6 starter is going to be Sean Markham, and there's no talk about changing that. He did leave himself a little bit of an out in that discussion, however.
Well, I think, you know, his thought is that, and I think rightfully so, Randy Wolf in his first start in the postseason, it was not a good start. He returned with an excellent start a night ago. He's hoping that happens for Markham also. Why shouldn't it? Markham is one of the reasons they were here. Starting pitching is one of the reasons that Milwaukee Brewers won 96 games. Stick to your guns. If he struggles early, you'll have enough people to bring in.
That'll be back at Miller Park. Still a lot of time here for Milwaukee to come back. But it might change the decision of the Brewers manager. If the Cardinals, in fact, hang on to win this game, go up 3-2, put themselves a win away from the World Series. Chris Narveson would be the other option. He faced just one batter in the 6th inning, retiring Lance Berkman. So he would certainly be able to come back after a day off tomorrow. In the meantime, it is Cameron Lowe.
He's just trying to get outs. He didn't get a chance to get too many outs last time he was in. Some unfortunate hits. Then they got some hits, rattled him around. He just needs outs to reset his confidence.
Lowe was the Brewers setup man for the first half of the season. He was pitching in the 8th inning, setting up for Axford. A sinker ball, ground ball specialist. And he gets a ground ball here. Betancourt to Weeks. And that's what Cameron Lowe does. Gets ground ball outs. The Brewers turn 2. Wipes out the leadoff single. It is golf's most exclusive event, Major Champions Only, the 2011 PGA Grand Slam of Golf from Port Royal Golf Course in Bermuda. It all starts Tuesday, October 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern on TNT.
It's only 4 guys.
It's 4. Got a battle against the best winners of the year, the major championship winners. One day you'll be there, John Smoltz. Yadier Molina on the first pitch, a base hit. His 3rd hit of the game.
Cardinals win this series. Has there ever been just the whole bullpen get the MVP award? Just give it all to them?
That's a good point.
Right?
Bullpen has come up big in the victories, especially the Game 3 win. 12 in a row retired by the St. Louis bullpen. This is the work they have logged so far. A 1.83 earned run average. They've covered 19 2/3 innings. This is Game 5. And still 2 innings to pick up here tonight. The 19 2/3 compares to the starting pitchers going 22 1/3.
Going to be some GMs out there saying, why am I paying my starting pitchers $15 million a year?
Going to be some agents out there making sure that middle relievers get an extra push. 2 balls, no strikes on Nick Punto. A real key moment in this game occurred in the 4th inning with Nick Punto when he was at the plate with 2 on and nobody out. And La Russa had a bunt, the 8th place hitter. That brought the pitcher up. Jaime Garcia delivered with an RBI groundout. That gave the Cardinals, at the time, a 4-0 lead. Safe to say the envelope has been pushed in many areas. 3-0 on Punto.
I think John's right that what you need to do, Milwaukee has plenty of firepower to get in this game and get back in it quickly. But how are you going to do that? You need to really start punishing some of these relievers that are coming in. Put it in their head, even if you don't come all the way back in this game, the next time they go out there, they know that they have a history of giving up some line drives.
Molina takes off, and there is ball 4. Molina running on a 3-1 pitch. Punto draws the walk, and the Cardinals threatening once again. A couple of key moments in this game. One of them occurred in the second inning. Greinke is Jaime Garcia. Who drove right through the legs of Hairston. 2 runs were in, made it 3-0 St. Louis. Then Octavio Dotel with Ryan Braun at the plate representing the tying run struck him out. Different result than we saw in game 1 when Dotel gave up the 2-run homer to Betancourt. Dotel goes an inning and a third, turns it over to Lance Lynn. You would expect that Lance Lynn would come back out for the 8th inning, but he's at the plate and he can give you some extra innings because, as we talked about, he's been a starter in the minor leagues.
Starter, day off tomorrow, everything working in favor of using all these bullpen arms.
Wonder whose bat he's using. The rookie relievers have their own bats?
No. You place those orders in spring training and they come by covered wagon.
You have to use maybe a Freddie Lynn model might be the one to go with.
What you got to do is you got to disguise them under a position player's name, and you will get them sooner.
The old pro stock. No batting gloves. He's got a random bat, and obviously he's found a helmet that he can wear.
I watched Willie Harris turn his season around for us with a giveaway bat. He went 5 for 5.
No way.
Yes, he did.
Impressive that he has his own helmet. Made a start for the Cardinals in the regular season. Just wonder, now Lynn is coming off an oblique injury. Is he up there just to take? He might as well be using a table leg at this point. But Lowe throws him a breaking ball. And now it's 2-2, and at some point Cameron Lowe is going to have to find out if he's up there to swing or not. His value is on the mound. I'd be shocked if he's swinging away. Cardinals need him to pitch the 8th. And Lowe misses. 3-2.
The unwalkable man might be walked.
Runners will get a head start. Lynn getting as small as he can, as best he can, at 6'5" and 250. There they go, the 3-2, and it's right down the middle for a called strike 3. Doing his best Eddie Goodell impression. But he'll be back on the mound, and the Cardinals have a 5-1 lead.
Of Conan, all new weeknights on TBS. The Conan Blip, an aerial coverage of the NLCS between the Brewers and Cardinals. High above beautiful downtown St. Louis, brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Back down to you, Brian.
All right, Craig. Amazing how he can stay so composed standing on the edge of that blimp. Corey Hart leads off, and a base hit to left field as Lance Lynn on the first pitch gives up a single, and Milwaukee with a base runner. Daniel Descalso is the new third baseman for the Cardinals. Milwaukee down to their last 6 outs. And it's Hart, the leadoff hitter, who comes up with his third hit. And now Jerry Hairston.
Like we said, you got to create a little stress for these guys, just a little bit. Do what you can. Get as many runners on. If Tony's got to make changes, he makes changes.
You would figure Jason Mott is close. They also have Zepchinski, the left-hander, as Hairston takes a ball. Going back into the history books, Milwaukee franchise history, they've overcome a 4-run deficit to win just once in postseason history. They don't have a lot of postseason history to call on, but it was back in '82 in Game 4 of the World Series against St. Louis. And it was a 5-1 score in Game 4 that the Brewers came back with a 6-run 7th inning to win that game 7-5. Cardinals would win the series in 7, their 9th World Championship. It's the first time since '82 that a Brewer team has made it this far.
Good pitch count right here for Hairston. Looking one area only. Try and drive the ball in the gap.
And it's upstairs. 3-1 the count on Jerry Hairston. Lance Lynn with 4 scoreless innings in his first postseason, his rookie season in the major leagues. Ball 4. Hairston draws the walk, and the Brewers have 2 on with their sluggers coming up. And quickly out of that dugout is pitching coach Dave Duncan.
Well, it shouldn't have affected Lynn, but we talked about him being a starting pitcher, a guy that got a big out, went through an inning, sat down, took an at bat, and went back out there. He'd be the least affected, you would think.
Mark Zepchinski, the left-hander, preparing for fielder, you would think. So Lance Lynn, a matchup with Ryan Braun. Big spot. And John, how about we go back to the 5th inning with Dotel and Braun?
Well, this is as good as it can get for Kane, staying committed to the outside part of the plate, making Braun reach, and then just a little bit of a wrinkle to keep him off balance. Probably not the best slider, but he had seen fastball away, and the off speed got him more than the location.
Swings at the first pitch. Falls behind. You see the box score for Milwaukee. They banged out 9 hits, but they have just 1 run. Braun had a double in the first. A long ball here. It's a brand new game. Tying run in the on-deck circle for Milwaukee. And still upstairs, Lynn got the strike on the first pitch, but misses again up in the zone, and it's 1-1.
Leaking just a little bit, trying to maybe get a little extra. Location's so important late in the game. He's coming up out of his pitches on the last 2 batters, throwing the ball, getting underneath it, riding it high. When he's good, he's down in the knees, and that has that extra life. We haven't seen anybody really turn it around yet. I think this guy could, though, at the plate.
Yes, he can.
He's capable.
I think the key, we were talking about it in between commercial, a lot of big swings from the Brewer hitters tonight. Almost like everyone's trying to hit a 3-run homer to get them back in the game. A nice double, like you said, John, gets them right where they want to be.
And a base hit here is going to force La Russa back to his bullpen. Braun bounces one up the middle, over to cut it off for Call, and is able to get to the bag for the out. Light on his feet, Rafael Furcal. An out at second. That's the first out of the inning. First and third for Milwaukee now. And decision time for the Cardinals with Fielder coming up.
Well, what Furcal was trying to do is beat that ball to the spot where he'd be able to touch second and complete the double play. But that bag was a little too far for those littler legs.
Right here, he was saying, go, gadget leg. Extend out. But he ended up getting the big out. At this point, outs, even if you give up a run or two, are important.
So a pitching change coming up. Lance Lynn is out. Runners at the corners for Milwaukee. And the left-hander coming in to face Prince Fielder. We'll take a timeout. Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by the new Capital One Cash Card. The Cardinals with a 5-1 lead, trying to take a 3-2 lead in this best-of-7 series, as this one moves back to Milwaukee Sunday. But the Brewers are threatening. First and third, one out. And Prince Fielder is coming up, and Tony La Russa goes with his left-hander out of the bullpen, Mark Zepchinski.
He's been pretty good against Prince Fielder. He's given him a steady diet of sliders away. Zepchinski throws just hard enough to keep you alive, though, for that fastball.
Zepchinski appearing for the 4th time in this LCS. Struck out Prince Fielder in their last confrontation in Game 3. This is a big moment here in the 8th inning. One away, first and third. Tying run still on deck for the Brewers. Fielder, a little bouncer foul.
One thing he hasn't done yet is he hasn't hung one of those breaking balls. That'd be the only thing that really could get him in trouble here with the power that Prince has. He's been real good away, getting him to reach and sweep the ball away from Prince Fielder.
You know, the way that Mott threw the other night, though, you got to feel if you're the Milwaukee offense, this is your shot. It may be last shot.
Got the heart of the order up. And men on base. And he goes. Fielder cannot check his swing. It's now 0-2.
Well, this is it right here. Slider off of the fastball. Almost the first pitch, show pitch. Good tight spin. Setup pitch right here. Just go right back out there and expand as far as you can.
Tried a fastball. Fielder fouls it back. Zepchinski coming to the Cardinals from the Blue Jays. He and Octavio Dotel. Edwin Jackson part of that trade as well. Dotel with an inning and a third scoreless earlier tonight. Now Zepchinski in a big spot with Fielder at the plate. With Braun still at first, the Cardinals set up to turn 2. They will gladly take a chance at a double play. And a swing and a miss. Fielder strikes out. Zepchinski gets him again.
Well, when you have one job to do, he's done it pretty well so far in this series. Fastball, maybe got away with that one down the middle, but then the slider for a strike. He tries to throw a fastball away for a foul ball, and then just buries the slider down for strike 3.
Fielder is gone. He's 0 for 4. Zepchinski has come up big in the postseason. What a pickup he was from the Blue Jays. He is out. Mott coming in. 5-1 Cardinals. Cardinals game 5. St. Louis 4 outs away from taking the 3-2 advantage in this series. The probables for game 6, which will be Sunday here on TBS. Edwin Jackson against Sean Markham. If the ALCS has a game 7, our coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern. If there is no ALCS game 7, then we're on the air at 7:30 Eastern. Game 6 Sunday. 2 outs, 8th inning. Jason Mott, the Cardinal closer, is on the pitch, facing Ricky Weeks with runners at the corners for Milwaukee. 5-1 Cardinal lead.
Facing Jason Mott, you really can't be long at the plate. You've got to be short and quick and try to pick an area of the plate and guess right against his fastball, because he's been outstanding since really being the unnamed closer, coming in throwing BBs.
Like the unknown comic, the unknown closer.
A smash to third. Descalso makes the play. Mott is out of it. Descalso just put in for his defense. Makes a beauty to end it. And the Brewers strand 2. The Cardinals now 3 outs away from victory. To the bottom of the 8th we go, and you can catch game highlights, interviews, and exclusive post-game analysis from Tom Verducci, the award-winning staff of SI Writers at si.com/MLB. Marco Estrada is the new pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he'll face the top of the order: Rafael Furcal, John Jay, Albert Pujols. Each club with 9 hits, but the Brewers with just 1 run on those 9 hits. Cardinal bullpen has been able to strand some runners aboard. Furcal is 1 for 4, had a double and a run scored in the 6th. He scored the 5th St. Louis run. Story tonight, at this point, Milwaukee's defensive lapses. 3 errors in this game that have led to 3 runs. Pop up. Foul territory. Betancourt, the shortstop. Forward out number 1.
Well, this totally changes strategy, everything. This is a 1-run ball game, and that error right there, Ron, made it a 3-run ball game.
Bad throw here by Ricky Weeks. Pujols could advance, and then the simplest ground ball is not handled by Betancourt.
Been an inning ender. Instead, Pujols came to the plate and drove in that 5th Cardinal run. That was in the 6th inning. John Jay batting for the 5th time. 0 for 4. 5 runs on 9 hits for St. Louis. Cardinals have had a number of chances to break it open even more here tonight. They've stranded 10 runners on base. Just 3 hits with runners in scoring position tonight, 3 for 13.
With the Cardinals offense, certainly pitching is a little bit challenged when you're trying to go through their whole lineup. But I think at this time of the year, when guys just do what they're capable of doing and make the everyday plays, this game's a different ballgame. And so could be the game the other night when the play wasn't made, a couple of plays weren't made in the 4-3 ball game that the Cardinals won. So this series, rarely do you look at a series and go, okay, defensively, Milwaukee's been at a disadvantage.
And that has been a nemesis for Milwaukee all season, especially their infield defense, and it has proven costly tonight.
And you can make up for some of that if you got some guys out there that can strike you out. But we saw today, Zach Greinke did have 0 strikeouts. And he's your pitcher on the mound that arguably, over 200 strikeouts, and he's got that kind of swing and miss stuff, but just was not able to put himself in positions to strike anybody out in key situations.
As John Jay draws the walk. So a man on, and here comes Albert Pujols. You don't know where this season's going. This could be potentially his final at-bat in a Cardinal uniform here in St. Louis.
And the fans recognizing that. Knowledgeable a fan, baseball fans will get anywhere here.
Pujols a free agent at season's end. As we send it down to Craig Sager.
Well, I talked to John Mozeliak, the general manager, about that specific situation. He said, listen, we agreed not to negotiate during the season. When the World Series ends, we'll have 5 days exclusively to talk to him. We have an offer. It will remain confidential. After the 5 days, if we can't reach an agreement, he will become a free agent. However, let me tell you, we want everything we can do to get him back in the St. Louis uniform. There's a lot of uncertainty in the fans, in their minds, but we are committed to bringing Albert back. Back to you guys.
There's John Mozeliak, the Cardinal general manager. And a very similar story in Milwaukee with Prince Fielder. I can't imagine Pujols in any other uniform in a Cardinals uniform. And Marco Estrada strikes him out. So out number 2, Pujols is gone on strikes.
The interesting thing, when you face Albert Pujols, you know you can get outs down, but that tension of what he can do allows you to not get it down all the time, and he feasts off those mistakes. Balls up, he will crush. But if you get it down, as a great pitch sequence right there by Estrada, and he made the pitches in that at bat.
Pujols 1 for 4 tonight with an RBI single. So now 2 out. Here's Lance Berkman. Remember, if the Cardinals do advance to the World Series, they will have home field advantage for the first time in this postseason. The National League has home field advantage due in large part to the Brewer first baseman, Prince Fielder, who was the MVP of the All-Star game at a 3-run home run. This was the swat that gave the National League the lead in Arizona. Fielder booed the day before, cheered loudly in Phoenix after that 3-run home run off C.J. Wilson. So wouldn't that be something for St. Louis to have to play on the road as the underdog to just get into the postseason by the skin of their teeth and end up in the World Series with home field advantage? It could happen. Fielder would love to give himself home field advantage in a Brewers uniform. Two and one on Berkman. Berkman had a hit in the second inning. 1 for 4 tonight with a run scored. And it's thrown away. John Jay on his way to second, and he'll stop there. Another error for Milwaukee. Number 4 in this game. A throwing error from the mound puts John Jay in scoring position.
Ron Renick's got to be, well, let's hope we get them all out tonight. That ball thrown as Fielder was going back, not even close.
Ricky Weeks hustling to back up. That keeps Jay at second base. Now Berkman a chance to add to it. 5-1 Cardinals. Oh, it took something off. Berkman out in front. The most errors in a League Championship Series game, 5, done twice. The Dodgers in '74 and the New York Yankees in '76. The Brewers with 4 tonight.
Estrada pitching Berkman away. The big shift to right field by the infield leaves that wide open at the shortstop position. Berkman is a great RBI guy. If you're going to throw him fastball away, he'll try to shoot it that way.
We saw Berkman beat the shift in game 1. Slapped one through that hole. That's all it would take to score a run here. Full count, 2 outs. Count stays at 3-2. Looking ahead to the Milwaukee 9th inning. They're at the bottom of their batting order. Betancourt will lead off the shortstop, and then Gomez, followed by Lucroy. Those are the scheduled hitters. Although Renicky does have some left-handers on his bench he could call on. Figure Marcotte to get an at-bat in the 9th inning at some point. Do it again. 3-2 the count. Bergman lays off. First and second, 2 walks in the inning by Marco Estrada. And it's going to be Matt Holliday now with 2 on and 2 away.
Great at bat by Berkman right there. I think anybody who hasn't been here done that before. You can get real aggressive trying to drive in a run, and he just patiently waited for his pitch. The next guy, put it on the next guy.
Berkman taken out for a pinch runner. Adrian Chambers will be the runner at first, and he'll stay in the game to play right field. Holiday with 2 away.
Tony La Russa was talking about Holiday. He said that a couple days ago he felt like he was pressing, that he'd lost a little confidence because he didn't play a lot in September. But 2 hits yesterday, 2 hits today. His swing is starting to come around.
Holiday with an infield single in the 5th inning, and then he slapped one to left field in the 7th. Got the corner. Holiday, a former batting champion. He knows a thing or two about comebacks. He was part of that 07 Colorado Rockies team. They won 21 out of 22 games. Into the regular season and into the postseason. Went all the way to the World Series that year.
Believe it or not, he's headed to go play college football as a quarterback.
Oklahoma State, right?
Yep.
I could see that. Tough to bring down, you would think.
Well, yeah.
Holiday signed to hit behind Pujols. He was with the Cardinals, came over in a trade in 09. He was with that Cardinal playoff team in 09. And then re-signed with St. Louis. Cardinals adding Lance Berkman to create some kind of triple threat in the middle of their order as Holiday whistles one. That is going to go to the wall. A run is in, Jay. Here comes Chambers. And he will score. Matt Holiday. A knockout punch, perhaps. 7-1 St. Louis.
And again, this will not show up in the scorebook, but the at-bat by Berkman allowed this to happen right here.
And they have been pitching him in. He's not been able to get to the ball. As he gets a little more confidence, his 3rd hit in the game here, that pitch down and in, he was all over.
And the reaction from the Cardinal dugout. Holiday now 5 for his last 8.
Mott doesn't like to sit down if he's going to have a four-out save. I don't think he's sat down yet.
He's pacing.
Damage with 2 outs for the Cardinals. So Descalso pops up, inning is over. St. Louis gets 2 more as Matt Holiday drives in a pair, 7-1. The Cardinals send Mott back to the mound. They're 3 outs away. This National League Championship Series coverage on TBS has been presented by the new Capital One Cash Card. To the 9th we go, and Jason Mott with a 6-run lead, but this is still a save situation for Mott. Remember, he came in with the tying run on deck last inning. First ball swinging, Uni Betancourt. Well, the momentum shifting back and forth, just what you'd expect in a series between these two teams. Adrian Chambers stays in to play right field. Cardinals have this incredible run going on getaway days, their final games of series, and of course they're saying their rally cry as Betancourt goes into center field. And there is out number 1. So the Cardinals, with a win today, they would win 16 consecutive games on getaway day run.
Yeah, well, they have their mantra, which is happy flight.
And in postseason history, series tied 2-2. The team winning Game 5 has won 36 of 52, so 69%. It was the 82 Cardinals that bucked that trend. They were on the other side of that trend. And they won the final 2 games against Milwaukee to win the 82 World Series. Taylor Green is going to be the pinch hitter for Milwaukee. Your thoughts on the percentage, John?
Well, that's okay, but I like the percentage of teams that win Game 7 moving on. I like that one.
Yeah, you like that one?
100%, right?
Well, yeah, in the 7-game series era, because they used to play 9-game series.
So all of that setup between innings, all the production work that went into that graphic, the efforts by the truck.
Yeah.
Because you had a statement, and that's it? That was what you wanted to say?
I like the 7th game. I like the winner of the 7th game, to be honest with you.
Well, for Milwaukee fans, I played on one of the 16 teams that was in that minority, so it can happen.
The 86 Mets.
Red Sox won the 5th game of that World Series.
Taylor Green lifts one in the air. For call will make the call, and it's actually John Jay who steps in to make the catch. 2 outs in the inning, and the Cardinals are an out away from putting the Brewers on the brink of elimination. Stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan, live from Busch Stadium. There they are, Matt, Cal, Eck, Boomer Wells. They'll bring you highlights of today's game, post-game analysis as well. A lot of shine going on up there.
Hey, easy.
On the left side of that. Craig Counsell pinch hitting. One note about the St. Louis Cardinals at Miller Park. Yes, the Brewers, the best home record in baseball, but the Cardinals have won 5 of the last 7 games at Miller Park. That includes Game 2 of the NLCS. So of all the teams in the National League, it has been the Cardinals who have had the most success at Miller Park. The Brewers' goal was to make sure this series got back to Miller Park. Counsell pops it up, and this should do it. The Cardinals are a win away from another World Series appearance as Jason Mott closes the door. It's a 4-out save tonight and a 7-1 victory for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This has been one of the best team efforts that you can say. I mean, they've all contributed to the wins. There hasn't been one superstar. There's been a bunch of guys actually ready and willing and filling in, including that impressive bullpen.
The least amount of outs the Cardinals bullpen has had to get in this 5-game series so far. 12. The least amount in a game. They have just been outstanding. There we go. Happy flight. And the magic number.
Cardinals had to pick up 13 outs in this one to finish it off out of their bullpen. This is not the bullpen that the Cardinals had at the beginning of the season. This is a remade bullpen that is clicking on all cylinders right now. As we send it down to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Brian. With me, Yadi Molina. Manager Tony La Russa said he'd pay money just to watch you catch. Forget about your 3 hits tonight. What is going on with your bullpen? Why are they being so effective in this series?
I mean, we've been aggressive in the strike zone. I mean, the strike one has been the key for us. We're having a good series right now, and hopefully we can do it for one more game.
The last 3 times that Ryan Braun was up 2 men on base each time. You got him out with a pop-up, a strikeout, and a ground-out. He's one of the clutch hitters in baseball. What's your game plan against him tonight?
You know, we know that it's going to be aggressive, so we're just trying to make pitches. He's a good hitter, so that was a good time for us to spend the summer. He chased, so I think that was the key.
The offensive end of it. You and Matt Holliday had 6 of the 10 hits. Why are you so comfortable at the plate?
Right now we like a team. We stepping pretty good at bat. We're seeing the ball pretty good. I think that's the key.
All right, thanks a lot. And here is Matt Holliday. Matt, we don't have to ask you any more questions about your hand and how you're feeling. 5 hits your last 8 at bats. You got it going. What's the difference?
Well, my timing's better. I'm able to work on my swing a lot lately, which I wasn't able to do for a while. So, I'm just grateful that I had an opportunity to help the team out. Sometimes when you don't come through, it burns because you want to do it for your guys, and to get a couple hits feels pretty good.
We mentioned that you were on a team in Colorado in 2007 that went on a stretch run, winning 21 out of 22. How is that team compared to this one, and how, again, this team was counted out and you keep winning?
It's similar. I thought after that season, well, I'll never probably really experience anything like that again. And the Lord has put me in this team, and somehow it's been crazy. A lot of similarities with family atmosphere and fun stuff that comes up, and we've just been finding ways to win. It's a team. It's a group effort. It's never one guy, and we're just finding ways to win. Hopefully, we can find a way to win 5 more.
How surprised are you that you're leading this series 3-2 without a starting pitcher going past the 5th inning?
We're just trying to win. Tony's just trying to do whatever he can to win, and if the spot calls for it, our bullpen's been incredible, and they've really fit into roles, and it's been fun to watch. You'd like your starters to go deeper, but when you got a bullpen that's as deep as ours, you got that option.
Last 16 times you've had a getaway day. It's been a happy flight. Here you are again. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It should be a fun flight if we can catch some college football tomorrow.
All right, thanks a lot. You almost were a college football player at Oklahoma State. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig. Well, the Cardinals know that for the Brewers to end up in the World Series, they're going to have to go through Chris Carpenter. That is the Game 7 starter. The Cardinals can wrap it up with Edwin Jackson on the mound as this series returns to Miller Park with the St. Louis Cardinals 1 win away from a World Series. Our final score tonight, the Cardinals 7, the Brewers 1. They go up 3-2 in this best of 7. Be sure to tune in Sunday on TBS for Game 6 of the Cardinals and the Brewers. For Ron Darling, John Smoltz, Craig Sager, and the rest of our crew, I'm Brian Anderson saying good night from St. Louis. TBS is your exclusive home for the National League Championship Series. Now after the break, stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. We're headed to Milwaukee. 3-2.